Hello friends, in today's video we are going to learn about odd one out questions in non-verbal reasoning section of 11 plus exam, which involves identifying shape, figure, pattern that doesn't fit in with the rest of the figures. These type of questions test a student's ability to recognize differences in size, shape, color, orientation and pattern. The goal is to find the one shape or one figure that breaks the pattern or rule followed by others. So today we are going to see the intermediate level of exams in this series. If you have yet not subscribed to our channel, I would request you to do so, and if you like our content, please like our channel as well. So now let's start looking into the medial complexity level of odd one out examples. So in the very first example, if we see herein, we need to find out what is the pattern and which is one figure which is not following that particular pattern or rule. So if we see here, they all are having similar kind of shape. What difference do we see? Do we see all top line is a shaded one, and then we do see the middle line here in this particular shape is having a different shading type. But one thing is common here is all these shapes are having two shading except figure C or option C. Herein we do have three shadings, but rest of them are having two shadings. So the clue into this particular exam is question should be the number of shadings, and the odd one out should be the option C, which is having three shading, and rest of them are having two shadings. So that's how we identify the odd one out option. Now let's have a look in second question. So in this question, if we see, we can see there are three lines and one circle. Some of the figures are having a circle with dark shading and some of them are having with a semi-transparent shading. So based on that, we cannot identify odd one out here. Then what is the other rule which is followed by these examples? So we can see one common pattern. All these three lines are making a triangle, a small or big triangle. However, the third figure, which is option C, is not making any triangle. That could be one clue. So the clue is the formation of triangle in these shapes. And option A, B, and D and E are following same rule. However, option C is not following that rule. So the option C should be odd one out. Now let's have a look into the next example. So in this example, if we see, we do see a branch, but there are different number of branch and some of them are in one side and both side. What else do we see? So if we try counting and little bit give more focus, we do see that the number of horizontal lines are similar to the number of vertical lines, small vertical lines into those branches. So here we have four vertical line and four horizontal line. Here do we have six vertical lines and six horizontal lines. Here do we have a three horizontal line and three vertical line. So the rule here it looks like is a matching number of horizontal line and vertical lines. So if we go by that rule, the option D is not matching with that rule because here we do see six horizontal line, but then we do have eight small vertical lines. So here in this example, we can say the clue is the number of small vertical lines in which is matching with the side branches. That's the rule, and option D is not following that rule. So the option D should be odd one out. Now let's have a look into the next example. So in question 4, if we see, we cannot say that there are two lines and two circles because all of them are having that. Some of them are inclined and some of them are perpendicular. But then if we see closely, in any single shape, if we can find two circles, either they are dark one or they are the blank ones. But in option D, if we see, there is one circle with dark shaded and another is a light shaded. So in this case, the rule can be the similar shaded or non-shaded circles. And in this case, the option D is not following rule. So that should be the odd one out. Now let's have a look into the another example. So in this example, if we see, we do see square all over all options, and then we do see a two shape connected with a line following some pattern. So if we see closely here, if we go clockwise, the circle is at first and then there is a diamond. Circle is at first and there is a diamond. Circle is at first and there is a diamond. Circle is at first and there is a diamond. But in this example, if we see, there is a diamond first but circle second. So in that case, we can say the clue is a position of circle and diamond, and the option E is not following the rule of having circle at first position. Now let's have a look of another example. So in this particular example, if we see, we can see all shape are connected and they are following a specific pattern. So first is, let's say first is a square, then triangle, and then circle in a clockwise direction. Square, triangle, and circle in a clockwise direction. Square, triangle, and circle in a clockwise direction. Square, then it should be triangle based on the rule, but here we can see circle and then triangle. So this option D is not following the rule which we have been looking into A, B, C option. And if we look option E, square, triangle, and circle. So looks like here the pattern is the circle, square, and triangle position in a clockwise sequence, and option D is not following that particular rule. So the option D should be the odd one out here. Now let's have a look into the another example in intermediate level. So if we see question number 7, we do see all different shape and some of them are dark shaded and some of them are light shaded and some of them are having no shading. So based on that, we cannot identify odd one out here. So what could be the another clue? If we look a little bit closely, we can find there are 6 edges in option A. Again, this is hexagon, so 6 edges. Then we do have 6 edges here. Then we do have 6 edges in this shape as well, arrow shape. But here we do have pentagon, which is having 5 edge. So here the clue should be the number of edge in a specific shape, and option E is odd one out because it is having 5 edges and rest of the images are having 6 edge. Now let's have a look into the next example. So in this example, if we see, there is a common pattern which we can say the number of hexagonal shape are matching with the number of lines, and all of the figures are having a dark shaded hexagonal shape. So herein we do see 3 lines and 3 hexagonal shape, 3 lines and 3 hexagonal shape, 2 line but 3 hexagonal shape, and here we do have 4 hexagonal shape and 4 lines. So it looks like the number of hexagonal shape and lines are matching, and the option D is not following that rule because there are 2 lines but 3 hexagonal shape. So the clue here is the number of hexagonal shape is same as the number of lines, and option D is not following that pattern. So that should be the odd one out. Now let's have a look into the few more examples here. So if we see the question number 9 or example number 9, we can see there are similar set of arrows. So the count is all same, 4 arrows everywhere. Then if we see based on the shading, we cannot identify because they are all following different rule. But if we notice one thing, in some of the figure they are all pointing towards the same direction. So here it's pointing towards the right, all of them are pointing here towards left, then all of the arrows are pointing towards down. In option D, all of the arrows are pointing towards up, but in option E there are 3 arrows which are pointing towards right, and there is a 1 arrow which is pointing towards left. So the clue should be the direction of arrow here, and option E is not following that particular rule because it got 1 arrow which is pointing in a opposite direction. So that should be the odd one out. Now if we look into the next example, here we can see one wire and it's making some closed loops. The all shapes are different, so based on that we cannot say which is odd one out. But if we look the number of inner loop made by these circles, most of them are having 4 loops, but option B is having 5 loop here. So if we call out that the number of outer loops are a rule or pattern followed here, the option B is not following that rule, and that should be the odd one out. So the option A, C, D and E are following same rule, but option B is not following that rule, and that should be the odd one out. That's all into today's video. Thanks for watching, and in the next video we'll come up with a complex level of odd one out question examples. Thank you.